She never thought he'd actually do it. For all the late-night arguments, the subtle cold shoulders, the emotional distance that had crept between them like a silent thief, Remy Ma always believed that Papoose would never really leave. Not for good. Not in the way that cuts deep. The way that makes headlines. The way that makes you question everything you thought was real. For over a decade, through prison walls and industry obstacles, Remy thought their bond was unbreakable. That no matter how rocky things got, Papoose would always be there. But now, the man she once called her king has done the unthinkable, walked away. And not into the arms of anonymity or quiet healing, but into the full embrace of another woman. And not just any woman, Claressa Shields, two-time Olympic gold medalist, undefeated boxing champion, and now, allegedly, his new everything. Now, behind the scenes, Remy Ma is reportedly a shell of her former self. We're talking tears, voicemails, emotional breakdowns, and desperate calls that go unanswered. Insiders close to her claim she's begging, pleading for Papoose to come back. But he's not responding, and he's not alone. He's with Claressa. And what started as industry chatter has now exploded into a full-blown cultural moment. This isn't just a breakup, it's a public unraveling of a couple that once embodied Black love, loyalty, and legacy. But before we unpack what's happening now, we need to go back to what led us here. Because this moment didn't just materialize overnight. This was the slow collapse of a once solid foundation. A quiet unraveling hidden behind smiles, public appearances, and Instagram captions that masked the growing distance between two people who had once fought so hard to stay together. Remy Ma and Papoose weren't just a couple, they were a statement. They were the embodiment of loyalty in an industry where scandal is currency. When Remy was sentenced to 6 years in prison, most assumed Papoose would move on. But he didn't. He stayed. He didn't just wait. He honored her. He rapped about her, defended her, uplifted her name when the world forgot. He visited. He brought her son to see her. He built her up even while she was behind bars. Their love became legend, a blueprint of what ride or die was supposed to look like. And when she came home, they married again, a proper wedding, a celebration of surviving the storm. But what happens when the storm passes and the silence sets in? Over the years, subtle cracks started to show. There were whispers in the background, quiet conversations in barbershops and beauty salons about how Remy had changed. How the dynamic between them didn't feel quite the same. And then, slowly, the easy the block captain rumors started to gain traction. At first, it looked like a mentor-mentee situation. Remy was a pioneer in battle rap. Easy was one of the hottest rising names in that space. They were working together on events, supporting the culture. It made sense until it didn't. They were spotted together at multiple private events, having what many described as intimate dinners. There were blurry backstage videos showing them looking a little too close, a little too familiar. And then came the smoking gun, or at least what the internet believed to be one. A surveillance video allegedly showed Remy Ma entering a hotel suite booked under Easy's real name. It wasn't crystal clear. It was grainy, timestamped, debatably edited, but it was enough to light the internet on fire. Remy did what most celebrities do when caught in a compromising situation. She laughed it off. She gave interviews brushing the rumors aside. People always want to tear down a powerful woman, she said. She leaned on the media training, pulled the PR levers, framed herself as a victim of misogyny and internet hate. And maybe she wasn't entirely wrong. But there was one person who didn't go to the media. One person who didn't post a statement or show up in the comments, Papoose. He said nothing. And that silence, it was deafening. Because fans knew, Pap isn't the type to go quiet unless something's really wrong. He's not messy. He doesn't do subtweets. But when he retreats, it's never random. It's intentional. Behind that silence was thought, planning, distance, and something else, pain. Which brings us to Claressa Shields. At first, no one paid much attention. She was training with Pap, or so it seemed. There was talk of a promo project, a crossover between boxing and hip-hop. Harmless enough. But as the weeks went on, the energy between them became less business, more personal. Posts featuring each other became more frequent. The chemistry became undeniable. They looked comfortable, aligned, happy. Soon, anonymous tips began rolling into the blogs. Papoose is flying out to see her, one tipster wrote. They're not hiding it. I work at the hotel where they stay. 2 rooms weren't booked. More rumors claimed they were spending entire weekends together. Claressa, for her part, posted vague but telling quotes about love, strength, and respect. Nothing direct, but the timing, impeccable. Then came the moment that confirmed everything, the BET Awards red carpet. Papoose stepped out looking clean, dressed in sharp all black, with Claressa right beside him. She wasn't lurking behind him or tagged along as just a friend. She was standing with him, next to him, like a woman who knew she belonged there. Her posture said it all. This wasn't a side chick moment. This was a debut. And the way Pap rested his hand on the small of her back, the way she leaned into him like a woman held, not hidden, that was it. The confirmation fans had been whispering about for weeks. And Remy Ma, she wasn't there, not on the carpet, not backstage, not in the crowd. She was absent, emotionally, physically, symbolically. According to sources, she watched the entire thing unfold from a hotel room, clutching her phone as the photos and footage went viral. In that moment, it all became real. Her past with Easy, her dismissals, her denial, everything came crashing down. The man she once thought would never leave had finally made his exit, and worse, he did it without saying a single word to her. That night, Remy allegedly broke down. Sources close to the situation say she called Papoose multiple times. 6 calls, 8 texts, long voicemails filled with emotion, some angry, some pleading. She reportedly said things like, "I didn't think you'd actually go there, and I thought we were just mad." There were even claims that she tried to show up at his hotel. One source said she was sobbing, full-on shaking, saying things like, "How did we get here?" But Papoose didn't answer, not once. And when the silence became too much to bear, Remy turned to social media. Not her main Instagram, she knew better than that. She went live on a backup account, a private IG followed only by close friends and team members. But someone screen recorded the stream, and it quickly made its way to Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, and everywhere else the internet gathers to dissect a scandal. In the video, Remy looked raw, no makeup, no filters, just a woman unraveling in real time. She paced in what looked like a hotel bathroom, wiping tears from her eyes and whispering, "I was wrong. I know I hurt him. But how do we go from being a family to being strangers?" It was the most vulnerable she's ever been in public. Gone was the battle-tested Bronx warrior. Gone was the fierce lyricist who dominated every stage she stepped on. In her place stood a woman, just a woman, facing the loss of the one person she thought would never stop loving her. And then, just when you thought the story couldn't twist any further, Claressa Shields spoke. She didn't give an interview. She didn't drop a diss. She didn't subtweet. She posted one sentence. "I didn't take him. He wasn't being held anymore." And just like that, she flipped the entire narrative. She didn't steal anything. She didn't sneak behind anyone's back. She simply opened her heart to a man who was no longer wanted where he was. She became the peace Papoose had been silently seeking. And that sentence? It was the knockout punch that told the world, he's not coming back. Now we find ourselves here, in the aftermath. A hip-hop power couple has fallen. A queen has been dethroned by her own choices. A king has found peace with a new queen. And the world is watching, commenting, judging, empathizing, criticizing. Some are saying Remy got what she gave. Others argue that no one deserves this level of public collapse. Some admire Claressa for her quiet confidence. Others call it betrayal. But here's the truth, this isn't just about celebrity drama. This is a modern-day lesson in what happens when you take loyalty for granted. Because loyalty isn't endless. It has boundaries. It has a limit. And once that limit is reached, no amount of crying, calling, or confessing can undo what's been done. What do you think? Is Remy Ma genuinely sorry or just reeling from the public fallout? Is Claressa the peace Papoose always deserved, or just a well-timed distraction from a marriage already on life support? And most importantly, do you think Papoose will ever look back?